We're back with our daily MLB Best Bets here on Monday, September 22nd. There are only 3 games today in Major League Baseball, and they are the Washington Nationals on the road against the Atlanta Braves, the Milwaukee Brewers in San Diego against the Padres, and the St. Louis Cardinals on the road in the Bay Area against the San Francisco Giants. So we will have still 5 best bets for the video. We will still do our player prop, Nationals bet, and money lines, and there's no nerf fee I like. I'll just get that out the way right now, or a yes runs in the first inning that we've been going to more recently. There's just nothing I like. The nerfy that I would like to do is Freddie Peralta and Nick Pivetta in that Padres-Brewers game, but the line's minus 150 for the nerfy. And then Cardinals-Giants, I don't trust it. So no nerfy today, 1 player prop, a Nationals bet, and 3 money lines, a pick for every single game. Before we get into the video, folks, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more MLB Best Bets here on the channel. Later today, we're going to have our college football week number 5 predictions. Probably close to 4 hours. I haven't recorded it yet, but it's probably going to be like 4 hours. So make sure to join us later today on the channel for that. Probably 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Also, go make sure to check out Greedo Plays MMA this week, our UFC Fight Night Perth predictions, Carlos Ulberg, Dominic Reyes in the main event, and our PFL Europe predictions for PFL Europe Nantes, France. Okay, let's get it. First of our 5 best bets today. We kick things off with our Washington Nationals best bet. Now, there's going to be 2, but this is the one more specific to just the Nats. Mackenzie Gore today. We're going with Gore's over on strikeouts. It's listed at 4.5, minus 135. I think Gore should hit this. ERA for Gore this season is at exactly 4. If you remember, Mackenzie came back a couple starts ago. I didn't think he was going to start again this season after he went out with injury, but Mackenzie's been making starts, or made his last 2 starts at least, against the Marlins and against the Atlanta Braves, and has looked pretty good. I mean, his last start against Atlanta, he was good. 5 1/3 innings against the Braves, 2 hits, 0 runs, and 5 strikeouts. And here we go. Mackenzie gets to pitch against that same exact team here tonight against Atlanta. Now, he's on the road this time. I don't really think that affects too much, if I'm being honest. They are in Atlanta, and Gore should be able to deal against this Braves lineup that has been winning a lot. They've gotten out to 10 games under. That's crazy. I didn't think Atlanta was playing that well. Well, they swept the Nats, and they swept the Tigers. Yeah, I mean, how can I forget? Detroit, man, ooh, they are in the slums right now. We will not talk about them today. I'm sure we will get to talk about them tomorrow and their big matchup and big series coming up with the Cleveland Guardians. But the Braves go into Detroit. They sweep the Tigers. Yesterday, Casey Mize, though, pitches 5 innings, strikes out 5 batters. I don't care how well you're hitting, as long as Mackenzie's not getting blown up today and he's not throwing a yes hitter against the Braves, he will probably find a way to get 5 strikeouts. Again, in Gore's last start against the Braves, he did exactly that. Now, there is somewhat of a concern, at least for me, if we're trying to get the Gore strikeout number, that he's not going to go too deep into a start, because we're in September. Nationals aren't trying to push their guys. Gore's been a little critical of the not management, more of just ownership, but that's neither here or there. But Gore's been pitching well so far since the return. 1.74 ERA, again, goes 5 1/3 shutout innings last Tuesday against the Atlanta Braves, and that last start against the Marlins, or 2 starts ago against the Marlins, you'll take that too. Gore is still one of the higher strikeout guys in the league, still is 18th in all of baseball in strikeouts, and he missed a month. So there's that. I think Gore should be okay here. There are guys on this Atlanta lineup that will strike out. I'm looking at, even matchups that should favor Mackenzie, right? Like a Matt Olson. I know Olson's having a great season and a very good, one of the best second halves any player's had this year, but that's a matchup you get. Marcell Ozuna's been striking out a lot, right? Ozuna from the Braves is having one of his worst years of his career, if not the worst year of his career. He's batting sub 230. Michael Harris is a lefty-lefty strikeout candidate. Again, there are guys up and down the lineup that Mackenzie should be able to go after, and I think he will find a way to get 5 Ks today. Lines at minus 135. Again, Gore usually goes over this. I know he had that start against the Marlins in his comeback start where he only had 4, but Mackenzie's been pretty good all year getting this line. There are those random starts like Mackenzie had against the Padres in DC and against the Athletics in DC where he just gets beat up early and he gives up 8 or 6 or 7 runs in the first inning, and he's done in the third, or he's done after the first. That's happened twice all year, though. Happened against San Diego, happened against the Athletics. For the most part, though, Mackenzie Gore has had a tremendous 2025 campaign, and if this is the last start this year for Mackenzie, one hell of a year. We're looking for an even better year next year, but I think this is probably it for Gore this season. props to him. Hopefully he closes on a high note, and I think, again, his season will end on a fairly right trajectory. Hopefully he's got a sub-4 ERA to close the season. Giving Mackenzie Gore over on strikeouts today in his final start of 2024, and 2025, an all-star season for Mackenzie, over 4.5 Ks at -135. Let's move on now to our second best bet of the video. We go to another bet here with the Washington Nationals. First time we don't get the Nationals backdrop for a Nats bet all year long. Took me to the final week of the regular season to do this. Not like it matters, but the Washington Nationals and the Atlanta Braves do play today, right? We are not given, a big slate to choose from, so why not? We get to talk about the Nationals some more. I do it enough already, I know. Nats and Braves, I'm taking Nats plus 1.5. Guys, the Nats continued to surprise me over the weekend. There's really no other way to put that. I didn't think the Nationals were going to go into Queens and win the way that they did, okay? I did say I thought they were going to win the series, and of course the one day we don't bet Nats plus 1.5. For the 2 games, the one game we actually did bet on the Nats, they didn't win. And then the 2 days where we go Dalen Lyle, and then with the Yerfie, if that's what you want to call it, they do win. It's okay. I don't care, right? I mean, I'm so glad the Nationals screwed the Mets out of the postseason. I hope New York doesn't get in. If you want my full reactions daily to Washington Nationals stuff, again, Greedo plays clips on TikTok. I post once or twice a day over there. But Nats win yesterday 3-2 because of Jacob Young. Jacob Young plays the game of his life. I mean, legitimately kicks a ball up into the air after he's sprinting 400 plus feet out into center field. Ball kind of falls out of his glove after he hits the wall, falls down. Jacob Young kicks it back up with his foot and finds a way to catch it. I mean, unbelievable stuff. And then to make matters worse for the Mets, he robs a home run in the bottom of the 9th inning as well. So just crazy stuff out of Jacob Young. I mean, Nats win 3-2. Nasim Nunez hits essentially the game-winning home run in the top of the 2nd, and now New York, for as much as we have talked playoff, picture, and we don't have many playoff implications today with Braves, Nats, and then, of course, with Giants, Cardinals, but the Mets don't control their own destiny now. They are now tied with the Cincinnati Reds, but the Reds have the tiebreaker, and oh, by the way, watch out for those damn answer backs. They don't go away. Arizona is now a game behind New York. I know they don't have the tiebreaker on New York or Cincinnati, so technically they're 2 games back of both. But anything can happen, and the D-backs are still alive. Just like how technically the Giants are still alive, and the Cardinals for that matter, but I'll get to that in just a few moments. It's not that likely for both of those squads. Anyways, I'm going Nats plus 1.5 today. Expect a pitcher's duel, right? Last start of the season for both Mackenzie Gore and Chris Sale. Sale has had a phenomenal 2025, and it's obviously a year that's been hurt because of injuries, right? Or has been, his his max success, that's a horrible way of putting it. He got derailed, that's the word. Chris Sale's season got derailed by injuries because Chris Sale was well on his path to be another Cy Young finalist like he was last season. I don't think he would have won the award because of how dominant Paul Skeens has been this year. But look at the season Chris Sale has had. Again, through injuries and all, but this is the guy, again, 2024 going to the season reigning National League Cy Young winner. Chris Sale in 2025, 2.35 ERA, and since his return in August, he's got a 1.7 ERA. When he got injured in the month of June, he had a 0.83 ERA. And if it wasn't for the fact that he dove for a ball off the mound, maybe he's not injured, and maybe, again, it's a tight race between him and Paul Skeens for the Cy Young Award. Again, I think Skeens would have definitely gotten the nod. I mean, it was close last year, kind of, in Skeens' half season pitched. But obviously, Skeens has made that progression and that jump since. But anyways, Sale has pitched a phenomenal 2025. It's up to the Nationals if they are going to be able to score against Chris Sale or not. Now, I will warn you, probably no CJ Abrams and probably no Dalen Lyle. I don't know if the Nationals are going to go out there and put those guys in the IL just so they have extra bodies for the final week of the season. I'm thinking probably Trey Lipscomb would probably come up, and probably Jose Tena. Those are probably the 2 guys they would go to. They have enough outfielders out there. They don't need to call up another one. So if they do say, all right, we're going to put Abrams and Lyle in the IL to end the year, expect Lipscomb and Tena to come up fairly shortly. But I think even without those guys, the Nats should be okay. We're going to see a righty-heavy matchup now for the Nats. I mean, you take away two of their better lefties, and obviously their best hitter right now by far is Dalen Lyle. He hurts his knee sliding into the wall yesterday at Citi Field. Again, it's not going to be a long-term thing. He will be fine for opening day 2025 or 2026. My goodness, second time I've done that today. I just don't know where he's going to be out for the rest of the season, and why would you risk either him or Abrams to come back? Potentially CJ, though, because I heard that Miguel Cairo, or saw that Miguel Cairo said that CJ would have been available to pinch hit yesterday if they needed him to. So maybe Abrams is back soon. I wouldn't expect him, though, to be back tomorrow. I would say probably for that White Sox series, hopefully he's playing defense behind Josiah Gray in a start that might happen on Friday or Sunday. I hope. I need to see it. But expect a low-scoring game. I think the Nats are going to be able to find hits in spots against Chris Sale. I'm not telling you it's going to be automatic, but, give me Andres Chaparro probably instead of Josh Bell today. James Wood, we'll see. He is 8 strikeouts away from breaking the all-time single-season record. He's got 6 games to not break it. I would assume the Nats are going to sit him down a couple games as he approaches that record, but we're not in that territory just yet. I think they're going to play him today and maybe tomorrow, and then if we're seeing, okay, he's like 4 strikeouts away, they'll hold off on James Wood until the final game of the season. Trust me, I think the org knows about that. I think they're going to care about that, because, we need to keep Darnell Coles around next season for propaganda reasons. Or we need to keep the propaganda, obviously, going for Darnell Coles, so we can't let Wood strike out 8 more times. Regardless, give me the plus 1.5 today. Last time Sale and Gore faced off was last Tuesday. It was a 5-0 win for the Braves. However, all 5 of those runs were scored in extra innings. So expect another pitcher's duel. It was 0-0 after the 9th inning going into the 10th. McKenzie pitched 5 1/3. Sale pitched 8. Expect another low-scoring game. I don't care who wins. Well, no, I do care who wins. I hope it's the Nats. But, the season's over, so do I really care at this point? The season goal has been fulfilled. Ruin the Mets' playoff hopes. Let's hope it stays that way. Give me Nats plus 1.5. Next up, we move on to San Diego, California for the San Diego Padres and the Milwaukee Brewers. Might be a hot take. I'm going Padres tonight. I know they're favored. They're favored to win this game. I wouldn't put them to be favored to win this one personally. Like, full transparency. If I had a full slate today of games, if I had all 30 teams playing in 15 games, I probably would not go out of my way to take Padres money line. I mean, if you've been watching every single day and if you've been watching throughout the entire season, to start the year and hell, even up until, I don't know, a month and a half ago, I would take the Padres all the time. It was always my team where if we get the Padres close to even money, especially at home, I like them because they have the talent, they've got the pitching, and obviously now they've got the super pen. I've heavily stayed away from San Diego, and I think I will continue to stay away from San Diego. They're just not a team you can rely on. Especially now, right? So, again, full transparency, I wouldn't bet on the game. I wouldn't. But we have 5 best bets, and for today, this is a best bet for the 3 games allowed, okay? It's not a bet that pops off the charts, though, for me on a normal day like tomorrow, again, where all 30 teams are going to be playing. But we are going to pick the Padres today. They should win. Now, neither of these teams really have anything to play for. San Diego knows they're going to be in the postseason. They cannot fall beyond that 5 spot. And they cannot overtake Chicago. I mean, they could, but the Cubs would need to continue to lose, and the Padres would need to win out, basically. It's not happening. Chicago has the tiebreaker, if I'm not mistaken. It would be very difficult for the Cubs to, get overthrown by San Diego and for that wild card round to be played at Petco Park. So it's very likely the Padres are going to have to go to Chicago for that one. I don't know if that goes well for them. Again, we will cross that bridge when we get there. But today, the Padres host the Milwaukee Brewers. Freddie Peralta is going for Milwaukee, which makes things scary because, of course, you know how good Freddie is. 2.65 ERA this season. Had that one really bad blow-up start against the Rangers where in 5 innings he gave up 5 runs. With the exception of that, though, Freddie Peralta has not had a start where he's given up more than 1 run since July. Happens to be against the Cubs, but it is what it is, right? Peralta's been very good this season. Last start, in a great bounce-back effort at American Family Field in Milwaukee against the Angels, Peralta goes 6 innings, 2 hits, and 1 run. It's a solo shot, and at the same time, Peralta strikes out 10 batters. Today, he will face Nick Pivetta. At least that will be the opposing starting pitcher. The righty from Victoria, British Columbia, comes into the start with a 2.81 ERA. That is actually 8th out of all qualified starters in Major League Baseball. That's crazy. Now, obviously, a lot of pitchers are technically not qualified because, the average inning length is pretty high. Anyways, though, Pavetta's had a good 2025 campaign. He's been shaky at times, But I think his worst days are well behind him. That was in, June, where he was struggling against everybody until he faced off against the Washington Nationals twice. And then Pivetta legitimately changed his season. I kid you not. I'll never forget Pivetta versus Gore on a Wednesday day game. And Pivetta threw 7 shutout innings. Gore gave up 1 run and the team lost. Just whatever, man. Pavetta's been good. ERA in September is 2.55. Coming off not a good start against the New York Metropolitans, where he gave up 3 runs in 5 innings, or 4 2/3. But obviously his team still won because the Mets suck. Lineup-wise, I think this is going to be a struggle for both teams. I know, right? Milwaukee just has these guys that come out of nowhere, and actually, I shouldn't say that anymore. I mean, these guys are established at this point, right? We're not looking at Isaiah Collins and being like, oh, where did he come from this season, right? This came out of nowhere. Sal Frelick, he can hit with power now? What? We obviously know what to expect now out of Milwaukee. We know that Andrew Vaughn has superpowers on this team, but it's not a team right now who is really trying to win baseball games. They just lost a series in St. Louis, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, they lost 2 of 3 over there, and you can tell Yelich is sitting some games. Churang's not playing. They're not actively really trying to win. That's how it is. And with that being said, do we expect Peralta to pitch more than 5 innings? No. Why would you pitch Peralta more? He's going to start Game 1 of the National League Divisional Series against either the Padres or the Chicago Cubs. There's no reason to push any of your guys right now. There's no reason to take any chances with your bullpen. Obviously, if the Brewers are put in a position where they can win, sure, they will try to go for the victory. But it's nothing that or something that they're like, these games really don't matter for Milwaukee. Sure, would the 100-win season be cool? But I think they have to go 5-1 from here on out to get 100 wins. And the way the Reds are playing right now, and how Milwaukee will probably approach that series versus how Cincinnati does this weekend, I don't think the Brewers are going to get 100 victories. I think the only thing that matters to them, though, is the number 1 seed in the National League. And they are well on their way to do so. So I'm taking San Diego. Padres lineup has pissed me off all season long. Their pitching is great. Their lineup, I wouldn't even call them bipolar. It's not good. You can't rely on it. At its peak and at its max potential, they can be great, but that's the thing. They never reach their max potential. I mean, on paper, Tatis Arraez Machado should be the best 1, 2, 3 in baseball. It's not. Tatis is kind of coming through, and he's been getting better as the season has gone on, but Fernando hasn't been Fernando this year. I know he went yard yesterday in Chicago against the Sox, and that was the deciding home run, essentially, because the Padres won 3-2, and when Nando hit his home run, it was to make it 3-0. But don't love what Arraez has been doing recently. I think he's been a little bit better as of late, but he's swinging at pitches outside of the strike zone. He doesn't foul them off. He just softly puts them in play. Machado's been good this year, but this entire lineup just has not lived up to it for me this season. Bullpen's still good, but not wowed on San Diego. They don't have much to play for either, but there is a somewhat possibility they could pass the Cubs, so they will try to win this game more, I believe. And they're at home, too. I'm taking Padres to win this one. Again, probably my least favorite bet of the video. Not joking. Minus 130 for the Padres. I'd probably bet on the other 4 before I bet on this, but there it is. Padres to win the game at home against the Milwaukee Brewers. On to our 4th best bet of the video, we go to our best player prop of the day. Again, we scrapped the Nerfy, so we will have a money line pick to close the video between the St. Louis Cardinals and the San Francisco Giants. But first, we have to say hello to Justin Verlander for the final time in 2025. Now, I don't believe JV's retiring. If he is, I hope not, because if he's retiring, should I go to this game tonight? I just thought about that. He's not retiring, right? Nope, okay. Justin Verlander 3 days ago says he wants to pitch in 2026. So I don't think this is it for JV. And I hope it's not, because I'm not driving all the way out to San Francisco today just to watch the St. Louis Cardinals, okay? If it was JV's last start, I would, but I don't think it is. So Verlander gets the ball tonight against the St. Louis Cardinals for the last time here in 2025, and we're taking Unk to go over, okay? Unk's been good for us this season. He has. I give a lot of credit to JV. All right, when we needed him to be horrible, he was horrible. Shout out to that one Nat start I was at in August. That was great watching Unk get shelled. When we decided, you know what, we're going to side with Unk instead of fade Unk, he was great. That win against the Cubs at home, the win against the Orioles at home on a Sunday, right? When he pitched lights out and gave it his all in St. Louis, where, again, last time he pitched against the Cardinals, 7 shutout innings? 6 shutout innings against the Cardinals, and his team still lost 3-2. Thanks, Ryan Walker. But JV's been really good recently. The Giants have been winners in 4 out their last 5 with Verlander on the bump. Save that one for later. But JV in the month of September, 20 innings pitched with a .45 ERA. He's got a 3.75 this season. Oh, there's going to be a spot for Justin Verlander somewhere next year in the major leagues. And if nobody offers him a contract, Mark Lerner, hey, you might as well. You might as well. I wouldn't mind adding a Justin Verlander bobblehead to my Nats collection, right? If this is what it comes to, let's bring him and Scherzer over. Oh, I'm sure that'll go great, right? 2 unks fight each other in the clubhouse every single day. I'm kidding. Don't bring both of them in. Bring one, I guess, if we can't sign like Ranger Suarez or Zach Gallen. I guess do that, which they're not going to sign Gallen or Suarez. So maybe my big free agency guy this offseason will be Justin Verlander. And on opening day 2026, you'll see me in a JV jersey. And you know what? If the Nationals actually sign Justin Verlander, I'll get a custom JV jersey and it'll say Unk on the back. All right, I will do that. And I'm the 43-year-old. Oh, my goodness. Verlander's been really good, though. And I would be surprised, actually, if the Giants don't re-sign him. Why wouldn't they? He's been really good. I don't know what... I mean, maybe Houston takes him back again. I don't know, but there's a reason they moved on. What I'm getting at here, though, Verlander with a .45 ERA in September. Strikeout numbers haven't been the highest, I will say that. So Verlander's line tonight is 4.5, and he actually hasn't reached that in his last 2 games. But the teams he was pitching against, Arizona and Los Angeles. Now, Verlander, with gutsy efforts in both of those games, actually gets the win in both of those against the Dodgers and the Cardinals, Arizona Diamondbacks. Well, he doesn't get the win, but his team does. Verlander gets Arizona 7 shutout innings, only 3 Ks. Dodgers 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 run. It was a solo shot, and 4 Ks. Now, the reason why I'm going with Verlander, though, and it's not blindly because, Unk's been pitching well, look at the Cardinals start that he had in St. Louis. It only took him 6 innings to get 6 Ks. And yes, he pitched 7 against Los Angeles and Arizona, but those are much better lineups. And, well, that's kind of it. Those are much better lineups. He had 6 strikeouts with 88 pitches against the Cardinals last game around. And the St. Louis lineup, I mean, Mike, where do I even begin on how mediocre the Cardinals lineup is? What stands out on the St. Louis Cardinals for you? Alec Burleson. Nolan Arenado, I guess, walked off the field for the last time in St. Louis. I'm very interested to see what Arenado's market is in the offseason. He's going to have to be willing to waive that no-trade clause somewhere, which we'll see on that. But who's really dying to get a 34 to be soon-to-be 35-year-old Nolan Arenado who batted .230 this season and only hit 10 home runs and doesn't stay on the field every single game anymore? I don't know. He's a 1.2 WAR player in 2025. Hasn't had a higher than 2.5 WAR since 22, where he was excellent, obviously, for St. Louis. So I just don't know what the market is for Arenado because I really don't think it's that high, personally. But we'll see, I guess, because who's going to trade for that contract? Probably the Yankees, legitimately, right? Like, that's the thing I could see them doing. Or the Dodgers are going to get Arenado, aren't they? They're just be like, we can pay it, so welcome in, vet. I'm serious. Anyways, the Cardinals lineup isn't good. So JV's going to go over 4.5. And then with that being said, I'm taking Giants money line. -145. This is great value. This goes beyond Justin Verlander, though. And Unk's final start at 2025, which again is a celebration for us tonight. Michael McGreevy's pitching for the Cardinals. And McGreevy is coming off of the best start he's had probably in his career. In his last one against the Cincinnati Reds. This is another one of the games that just made me say, okay, I'm done with Cincinnati. But you know what? It paid off yesterday. Reds money line yesterday, 1-0 victory over the Cubs. Thank you, Andrew Abbott. McGreevy in his last start against Cincinnati goes 7 shutout innings, 3 hits, and 0 runs and 6 Ks. Where did that come from? He came into that start with a 4.44 ERA. It's now down to 4.08 after that start. What happened last time, though, Michael McGreevy pitched against the Giants? Oh, at home at Busch Stadium, McGreevy gives up 9 hits and 6 runs in 4 innings. And when the Giants are at their best, and when they are hitting like they're supposed to, this lineup is dangerous. I mean, I'll never forget the little run they went on just 2 weeks ago when we were thinking, I think the Giants are making the playoffs. But you know where that ended? In St. Louis. That's where it did. They were on a huge winning streak. They had won like 9 of 10. Going into St. Louis, you win the first game out there 8-2, and then you get the Justin Verlander start. Obviously, the loss is not on JV at all. He did everything he could They had a 2-0 lead going into the bottom of the 9th inning, and Ryan Walker gave up 3. He put bases. He loaded the bases up, no outs, and obviously the Cardinals took care of business from there. I mean, that's a thing that's a common occurrence with Ryan Walker. Look at that Diamondback series last week. I don't know how Ryan Walker still gets high leverage spots. I don't know, okay? And I don't know how Bob Melvin is going to have a job next season. Nothing against Unk. I feel like Melvin's done a horrible job this year. Is that just me? I don't know. Anyways, Michael McGreevy's not going to replicate what he did in his last start. That's pure bogus, okay? And now Michael McGreevy, if you date back to his start prior to that one against the Reds, in Seattle, he went 6 innings, 5 hits, and 1 run. So in the last 13 innings, Michael McGreevy's in the last 13 innings he's pitched, he's given up 8 hits and 1 run. For a guy who's got a 4.08 ERA on the season, and a guy who went into that Seattle start 2 starts ago with a 4.68 ERA, that's fake. That's all it is. I know, again, McGreevy hasn't been pitching for the entire season. He's dealt with injuries and whatnot. He's made, give or take, 15 starts this year. Still, though, those numbers are fake, at least what he's done recently, and he's due for a blow-up start. Again, look at the last time he faced off against the San Francisco Giants. It's the last game and last day that the San Francisco Giants had legitimate playoff hopes in 2025. They had won that game against St. Louis on the road. They go to 72-69 with a lot of time left, and the Giants win the game 8-2. Off of McGreevy, they get 9 hits off the guy, but in the total game, Giants with 18 hits and 8 runs. Everyone in the starting lineup hit. Ramos had 2 hits, Devers had 2, Adames had 1, it was a homer. Devers homered as well. Dom Smith had 2 hits, Chapman had a hit, Jung Ho Lee went 4 for 5, Casey Schmidt went 2 for 5, Drew Gilbert had a hit, and Patrick Bailey had 3 hits. So we combine that now with, okay, here comes Justin Verlander, who's been pitching lights out, and yes, McGreevy's looked good recently, but I think those are fake numbers, and I think once we get this matchup again against the San Francisco Giants, it's just not going to go well for him. So I'm going San Francisco Giants money line. They normally obliterate right-handed pitching. The way you beat San Francisco most nights is by throwing a really good lefty, and that's how they struggle. I don't think they're going to struggle against the righty in McGreevy out of San Clemente, California, which I believe is in Southern California because I've never heard of it, so it has to be down there. Yep, it is. I think the Giants jump all over the guy, and San Francisco has played pretty well at home this season. At least second half of the year, they have their weird devil magic. I expect Devers to come through, Adames to continue to play well at home, and I think the Giants are going to win the baseball game at -145. So, folks, thank y'all for watching our MLB Best Bets here on September 22nd. If you haven't yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. Again, smaller slate today, legitimately only 3 games for us to pick between, but tomorrow we are back to the normal 15-game schedule, and we are now on, after tomorrow, I guess starting tomorrow, we are on a straight sprint to the postseason as we have 6 more days after today until the MLB playoffs. So, folks, thank y'all for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure you leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Folks, thank y'all for watching, and Mamba forever.